Pokemon Pokopia. I love it. You should buy it. I'm gonna go back and play some more. So, deuces. Okay, I can give you guys a bit more than that. In this video, I'm going to give you my impressions of the game after about 10 hours of gameplay. I'll tell you what I liked, spoiler, quite a bit. What I didn't like, not much, but it's still there. And whether I think you should check it out, spoiler, I absolutely do. So let's dive into the world of Pokopia. Pokemon Pokopia, Pokopia? I don't know, whatever. Is a new life sim game by Game Freak and Omega Force. If you're a Pokemon fan, then you'll probably recognize the name Game Freak, as I'm pretty sure they've made just about every other Pokemon game out there. I didn't recognize Omega Force, but they are best known for creating the Dynasty Warrior games and their spin-off like Hyrule Warriors. They also made Dragon Quest Builders 2. I hadn't played that game myself, but looking at gameplay footage, it has a lot of similarities to Pokopia, to the point where I think it could be considered a spiritual successor. There are a lot of other comparisons that can be made as well. The blocky layout of the world can easily draw comparisons to Minecraft, and the very nature of the game, gathering resources, taking care of other Pokemon villagers, and decorating can easily draw comparisons to Animal Crossing. It may seem a little strange, but if I had to make any other comparisons, I'd have to say Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so hear me out on that. The games play totally differently, but when I think of those two newer Zelda games, the main thing that stands out to me is exploration. You can look at a point in the map, and you can pretty much go there, and who knows what else you may find along the way. There's something about exploration in that game that kind of fills me with a sense of wonder, and I had a lot of those same feelings playing through Pokopia. There seem to be very few guardrails to exploration, and once you get the ability to break rocks and jump, the world becomes so much larger. A little too large in some cases, at least early on, but we'll get to that a bit more later. I should also preface this by saying I'm kind of a fair weather Pokemon fan. I've never really been able to get into the other games, except for a few months where I was obsessed with Pokemon Go, but I know the general beats of the universe. I know some of the Pokemon names, like I know Pikachu. I think I have a Pikachu back behind me on there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can't get the angle. There we go. Pikachu. And I know some of the Pokemon games. I've seen some of the anime, some of the movies. I love Detective Pikachu. So does that count? Do I have enough Pokemon cred there? But yeah. Anyway, in Pokemon Pokopia, you play as a Ditto who has been taking the form of their former master. You wake up in a pretty desolate and ruined-looking world, with the only other sign of life being an older Tangrowth, who seems to be just as confused as to where everyone went. From here, your goal is to try to rebuild the world, basically. It hopes to attract more Pokemon while trying to figure out what happened to the humans, and hopefully maybe eventually getting them to return. As you build habitats and attract more Pokemon, you'll eventually learn some of their skills, like Squirtle's Water Gun or Hitmonchan's Rock Smash. For the abilities you don't learn yourself, you can recruit one of your Pokemon friends to use their power for you. Early on, for example, you'll use Charmander to light a campfire, and once you have Drifloon and some doll items, you can visit Dream Islands, which work a lot like the Mystery Islands in Animal Crossing. These islands are procedurally generated, but they change every day, but you can visit these to collect resources, including some that you'll need for later that are only available in the Dream Islands. In addition to building and maintaining habitats to attract new Pokemon, you can also complete daily quests for life coins, which you can use to buy items. These basically work like Nook Miles from Animal Crossing. By the way, I will probably be referencing Animal Crossing a lot here, as there are a lot of similar mechanics, and honestly, even the AI looks very similar, but you're also not limited to a single area. As you progress through the game, you'll build up your rank, and you'll be able to go exploring and unlock new regions, like the ruins of Pallet Town. You can also go through gates that take you to other parts of the world, which are just as destroyed. You are tasked with building up these areas as well, and you also find unique resources and Pokemon in these areas. In my playthrough, I made it over the Pallet Town, which I'm calling New Pallet Town. I know, so original. And I made it to the Rocky Ridges mine area. I think shortly after I started recording, I hit the beach area, which unlocks a bunch of story stuff there. But yeah, one of the goals in any of your area, but particularly starting with your main area, which is called the Withering Wasteland, is to rebuild the Pokemon Center, where you can unlock a bunch of new functionality, like the 3D printer, where you can make a copy of almost any item in the game, and another shop. I had finished the construction of the Pokemon Center towards the end of my 10 hours, and with the worlds I explored and the Pokemon I found, I feel like I made some pretty good progress, but I also feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what I can do in this game. There are almost no guardrails, and it kind of feels like the possibilities are going to be limitless as far as I find more Pokemon and unlock more skills. It's very freeing to be able to do so much early on, but it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. In addition to all the stuff I mentioned previously, like building habitats, finding other Pokemon, you also have to maintain their needs and keep them happy. You'll also pretty regularly, if not almost constantly, be approached by different Pokemon who will either have a request for you or they will want to give you something. It is cute, and I am happy to help these little guys, but can still be overwhelming when you're trying to do one thing, and then you see leaves rustling indicating there's a new Pokemon there, and then Bulbasaur chases you down for something, or in my case, a lot of times, you see something shiny off in the distance, and you want to go check it out. Now, It's amazing that you can do all this, but I think I personally would have benefited from a few more guardrails at first. Like, maybe don't let me explore Pallet Town until my own area is in order. Just the thought. My area is still a mess, but I feel like I need to hop over to the other areas to make sure those Pokemon are being taken care of. I mean, Pallet Town has Eevee, and Eevee needs us to help find their friends, so we can't just ditch them there. As far as my gripes go, I will admit this one is relatively minor. You can go at your own pace with this game, and there are very few deadlines when it comes to getting things done. I will also admit that I did this to myself, as I wanted to try to balance going at a steady pace while still seeing enough to get a feel for how the game works. Unless you're also trying to record a YouTube video about it, you probably won't have that issue. There are a few other smaller gripes I have about the game. Item placement can be a bit finicky, and since you can interact with almost everything, you'll likely find yourself picking up something you didn't mean to, or struggling to put something down just right. There are some control options to help make this a little more straightforward, but I very easily missed some of those options, and even with them, I don't think that would have prevented me from picking up as much crap as I did. There are brick borders around a lot of the paths, for example. I'm pretty sure I have 20 of them in my storage just because I picked it up when I was inadvertently trying to do something else, and I just couldn't be bothered to put it back down yet. So yeah. And then speaking of storage, I may be a bit spoiled because of Animal Crossing, particularly with the 3.0 update, but I really hate the way storage works early on in this game. Your own backpack is pretty small, although you can expand the size as you progress. And while you build storage boxes to hold items, they each have their own inventory, unlike in Animal Crossing, where the home storage is kind of global and you can access it from anywhere. Because that isn't the case, you may find yourself having to go from box to box, assuming you can remember where you put them all, to find a particular object, and I can only imagine this being further compounded as you unlock more areas. With that said, it is manageable with some planning. Storage boxes that are placed next to crafting tables will allow you to pull directly from storage to craft instead of having to have it on your person or your Pokemon in this case. And like I mentioned, you will eventually be able to get bigger backpacks. In fact, as soon after I finished recording, I found an upgrade that basically doubled the size of the backpack, and you will eventually also be able to get larger storage boxes. The camera can also be a little finicky, particularly if you're in a tight area. At one point, I dug a tunnel to get water over to a water wheel on the other side of a mountain, and the camera did not like that little narrow tunnel at all. And speaking of that water wheel though, I kind of found that by a happy accident. Through exploration, I found another huge area right next to your initial area of the wasteland, and since I had locked the ability to break blocks, I thought it could be interesting to try to divert part of the river to this new area so that I could activate a water wheel that was there. It may seem like a minor thing, but I'm always fascinated by games that allow you to have that level of flexibility, especially now that I know you're eventually gonna find a power, which I won't spoil, that would have made that a lot easier, but knowing that I could do that so early on was pretty cool. And yeah, if you check YouTube, you'll see so much creativity already, and this game is still brand new. With the Minecraft style blocks, you can build your own buildings, which Pokemon can use as homes, but there are also prefab structures you can build as well, and I think they all still fit together pretty nicely design-wise. Yeah, going back and comparing this to Animal Crossing again, a game I absolutely love, but is definitely much more limited. In Animal Crossing, building something beyond the initial village houses and shops isn't really possible. You can approximate it, you can fake it with like panels, but at the end of the day, they don't really do anything. With Pokopia, every building, even your own custom ones, can have a purpose. So to start wrapping this up, Pokemon Pokopia is an amazing life sim with tons of cute characters and nearly unlimited potential for creativity. I had to re-say that sentence like 5 times. I don't know why that was so hard. But yeah, it doesn't have battles like other Pokemon games, and it doesn't appear that you can evolve your Pokemon, although you will encounter their evolved forms as you progress. So if you're looking for a game that plays more like a traditional Pokemon game, this won't be it. But if you want to gather resources and abilities and build up a world for yourself and a bunch of cute critters, then this game is for you. As I mentioned, I spent about 10 hours in the game for this video, and I will be posting that very lightly edited gameplay footage alongside this video. So if you'd like to see more of the game in action, you can check out that video. You don't have to watch the full 10 hours, but feel free to jump around if you want to see certain mechanics in action. There's also so much more about this game that I can say, and you'll see more of my reactions there. Going forward, I definitely want to play more of this game. I probably already have another 10 hours or so, honestly, and I want to post more about it on the channel. I already have ideas for new habitats that I want to try to put together for some of my Poke friends, and I can't wait to share them with you. But with all that, my friends, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment letting me know what you think of the game. Have you tried it? Do you want to try it? Are there any particular builds you want me to try to build for a particular Pokemon, or just in general, you know? If you have not already subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll consider doing so. In addition to more Pokopia content, I also post a lot of Sims 4, a lot of Animal Crossing content. I'm also always looking for more games, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. But with all that, my friends, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.